guess the real name for what we call jazz is improvisation.
And we are live. Everybody, this is Carl here. And today we are going to be talking with John McAfee. And as of right now, we're just waiting for John to enter our link. But yeah, I mean, we've been in correspondence for several weeks at this point, and we've planned it out. And of course, there's going to be another guest coming on Sunday. But for those of you that don't know who John is, well, of course, the founder of John McAfee. He sold off the company around the mid-90s, exited quite luxuriously, and he amassed most of his fortune from that endeavor. And yeah, I mean, Johnny is a big boy. He, really dabbles in everything. Everything from crypto to yoga to smartphone applications. This is the man with the plan. Of course, people will want me to address certain, accusations against Mr. McAfee, but of course, I'm just here really to, he's a big boy. I don't want to grill his flipper here. I just want to let him know that I'm his friend, and I want to hug him and cherish him for who he is. Just gonna address some people in the chat. Why not talk to the chat a little bit while we're waiting for John to join? Officially, the conversation should start at 2, but I wanted to actually just provide a primer. Let me see here. It's a long story, Andy. He's very interesting. I agree. He's a very interesting man. Highly interesting, highly inquisitive, and has many theories on a variety of issues, especially with what's going on with COVID-19 and so on and so forth. This podcast has been brought to you by NordVPN. NordVPN is an incredible VPN. You should use it. Why? Well, why not? Use it. All right. I'm not asking you to consider it. I'm asking you to go use it. Use NordVPN now. All right. Fucking get it. Get it now. Piece of shit. If you're not gonna fucking buy it, you might as well just fucking click off the fucking podcast and go do some other shit. You fucking faggot. Of course, we're not here to dibble dabble around anything else, and we're not here to squeeze anyone's lemons here. We're here to just make lemonade. So let's get the ball rolling and do a little cool face with the little sunglasses. The smiley with the little sunglasses. Oh, it's wonderful. I can't even begin to imagine how fantastic it must feel to be in a VPN and browse the internet, knowing that you have absolute immunity against, of course, your overlords, the United States government, and all that probe your innards. Oh yeah. The liquid drum and bass is feeling very liquidy, it's like seeping through my pores. And Zobeezy is here. Wonderful, wonderful Zobeezy. Carl, how long is the interview projected to be? About 30 minutes, truthfully, but of course I'm going to continue on for at least 9 hours. I will be doing podcasts. I can't stream on my first channel, which is Carl II. I can't stream on there. Can't do much on there. Banned for about a week. And yeah, I can't really do much on there. It's deep. So yeah, you gotta be very careful. Very careful. We're gonna tread carefully here. Tread carefully. I mean, I'm. People are calling me a sellout now. Well, let me tell you something. Sometimes it's time to buy in, and sometimes it's time to sell out. And I have sold everything. This is no longer my channel. It's been purchased by a corporation, and just get used to it. Get used to it. It's been sold off. This is no longer under my jurisdiction. Manica. King Toot. Actually Jewish now, of course. course. We're trying to, evangelize here and make sure you know who's in charge. Me. I'm in charge. Carl sold out to the man. No one sold out to anybody. I mean, the man was having a discount, Brought to you by Viacom, Time Warner, so on and so forth. Alright, he should be here. I think I should have just started at 2 when he was on here. I mean... How's everybody doing today, though? How's everybody doing? Is everyone doing well? Is everyone happy? Are all of you happy? I hope you're happy. I hope you're doing great. We have Mr. Retraded in the chat. Ashfab, Litchview, Adolf Hitler on steroids. Wonderful man. Hey, at least you're here viewing this podcast. This should brighten your day up, right? Right? It's not that bad. I mean, you have no food in the fridge. Your electric bill is, well, you're gonna have collectors coming your way within a couple of days, but at least you have this podcast. That's pretty good, right? I mean, this is as good as it's gonna get, so it's not bad, not bad. I mean, it's pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, we should get 1,200. That's gonna last me like one day. After I buy all the amphetamines I need to, obviously conduct these interviews. He'll be pissed at. He'll piss at you. He'll piss you about Carl. John McAfee is a legend. Absolutely, absolutely. The man is definitely has a reputation, and we're here to try that reputation. Happy Passover, absolutely, absolutely. Happy Passover to everybody. L'chaim. I want the gold. Most of us booked it. Absolutely. Everybody on the dance floor right now. Everybody come on the dance floor. T-minus 10 minutes. T-minus 10 minutes. McAfee, Johnny McAfee, Johnny McAfee, Johnny McAfee, Johnny McAfee, All right, 1 second. Johnny McAfee, Johnny McAfee, Johnny McAfee, Johnny McAfee, Johnny McAfee, where are you, Johnny? Johnny, where are you? Aren't you Johnny right here on my podcast? We've been talking for a long time. You promised to be on my podcast. You better not hold your tongue, bite your tongue. But tell me what's going on. Johnny McAfee, Johnny McAfee. It's 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Really hope Johnny joins. We've been talking about it for weeks. A man of his word. Boom, 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 boom. John! Johnny, do you hear me? There we go. John, hopefully you can hear me, Johnny. Oh, he was just in here. He was just in here and he just popped out again. Okay, so John's reconnected. He has reconnected. All right.
There we go.
Wonderful.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. John, it is such a pleasure. It is such a delight to have you here. I don't want to waste your time. You are a busy man. I know that for a fact. So I just want to start off with some really casual questions. How's your day?
That's my day's great. Is this audio only?
This is audio only. Do you want me to broadcast your face and everything?
No.
I mean,
let me turn my video off because we'll get better audio.
Oh yeah.
Right. There we go.
Yeah. You know about bandwidth and yeah, man. So how's your day? Tell me about your day today. Like you woke up today. Like how does your day look like? Day to day.
Keep in mind, Janice and I have been in lockdown for a month.
For months.
A month, 1 month. Yes.
1 month. Okay.
And it looks like this is going to continue for a few weeks more. So we are bored out of our minds. And this is serious lockdown, not the kind of lockdown where you can go outside for a breath of fresh air. No, you're locked down. The only legitimate travel is to the hospital if you need medical assistance, or to a large food center to get emergency food supplies. Nothing else. Only one person allowed in a car, and that's the driver. A good friend of ours last week was arrested for going out at 6 a.m. and swimming in the ocean. And he was converged on by the police and carted off. So it's pretty serious. So we're bored. And this whole thing is so unnecessary. It really is.
I mean, like, are you scared of the virus?
About what?
I mean, of just getting it. Of just getting it. It's so scary, and it is scary. There's so many people dying, and I mean, I'm scared.
How many are dying? Tell me how many are dying.
Probably. I mean, if I could guess off the top of my head, probably millions at this point.
Oh, please, God.
No?
The World Health Organization just had numbers today, 98,000 people who died. All right?
98. 98. That's far below. That's
98,000.
not even a six-figure. Wow, that's insanely low. From
do you realize? Hang on a second. Let's talk about this.
Let's talk.
But do you realize how many? I want you to guess. How many people a year do you think the flu kills?
Geez Louise, if I can only start to, I guess maybe about a million, maybe about 1 million, 2 million, 3 million.
Yeah, well, and that's 600,000 this last year.
600,000.
600,000. That sounds like a lot too.
Right. But it hasn't been a year yet,
So what? 98,000 in 5 months? And hang on. This is a seasonal virus. It's going to end by the middle of May. You understand that? And it's going to come back in October. What are we going to do? And we're not going to get a vaccine this year. That's what every medical professional says. So now, October, we're going to lock ourselves up for another couple of months.
Oh, Lord.
Please. We're going to kill the world economy for a virus that is less deadly than the flu.
Right. But speaking of the world economy,
period of time.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Speaking of the world economy, John. I mean, are you doing well, like financially, because of the crisis? I mean, are you being affected by what's going on? I mean, obviously you can't go to your favorite restaurants and go.
No, I mean, other than that, no, of course not. We're not infected in any way other than we can't go and get coffee in the morning. We can't go get sushi. We can't take a walk. We can't get sunshine. We can't swim.
Hmm.
Can't play in the park. Can't do anything. Stuck inside.
You think this is going to cause hyperinflation? Hyperinflation, right?
Of course it will.
Hmm.
And not just forget hyperinflation. Listen, airlines. Do you realize what small margins airlines operate on? In 9/11, the U.S. shut down just U.S. carriers for 3 days. A couple of smaller carriers didn't survive that 3 days. We've shut them down for a month. There's going to be a shakeout, and 1 million people will lose their jobs, at least, just from the airlines. Then you've got the oil companies, 99% drop in parts of the world in terms of revenue. Why? No one's driving. Where can you drive to?
Mm.
No one's driving here. That's for fucking sure.
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Nothing on freeways, nothing on highways, nothing on side streets. No cars in operation except for police and the occasional person going to the hospital.
Right.
So no, oil companies are going to suffer amazingly. Travel industry, they're dead.
Well, what about the government just what about the government just bailing them out? We can just print money and get American Airlines back on their feet. We're gonna be blazing the skies before we know it.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, are you being serious?
To some extent, I mean, we have the government.
I'm sorry.
The government's gonna take care of it.
What does that mean? How can you fucking bail them out without printing money?
Well, let's just print it. I mean, we can just make more. Just print it.
Are you serious?
I mean, I'm aware of.
Of course you can make more, but if you make more, it makes the dollar valueless. Do you understand? Every dollar that you give away or bail someone out with makes the dollar valueless. If you're going to bail out everything, you have to pay $1,000 for a loaf of bread.
That's true.
And you think that doesn't happen in Germany? The mark, which at the beginning of the war was equivalent to the dollar.
How do I protect
at the end
myself?
Of the war, pardon?
How do I protect myself?
From what?
From inflation. What do I do?
Get out of. I don't listen. I do not know. Get out of the dollar. That's for sure. Get into euros, maybe, or the British pound.
McAfee coin.
But come on, you shouldn't get into coins in order to make money or save money, or no. Get into coins to use coins to free yourself from all this nonsense.
Right.
Financial freedom can only come with things like privacy coins and distributed exchanges. We have those things now. Who cares about whether coins go up or down? Doesn't matter. Janice and I don't have a credit card. We don't have a bank account.
Jesus Christ. You guys only got cash? You only use cash?
Of course we don't. We just use crypto, for fuck's sake.
Holy shit. So you buy pizzas with Litecoin and Bitcoin and all this other. What about the confirmation times and all that jazz, Like the guy's going to have to wait
pizzas,
2 months.
Please. If you're going to free yourself, you can't always buy a pizza. Make one at home. You can buy bulk foods. You can buy houses, cars, clothes, bulletproof vests, shoes, everything, but you can't go down right now. In a year, maybe. And there are tens of thousands of us doing this. If there weren't us, we couldn't buy anything or sell anything if others weren't doing the same, could we?
Jesus Christ.
No,
I mean,
there are tens of thousands of us that no longer have a bank account or a credit card or a fucking dollar bill.
So, let's suppose, what kind of food do you buy? And where do you buy it? With crypto? You're going to go to a farmer's market and, send the guy a Bitcoin or something, For
there are supermarkets all over the world that will take crypto, and if not, go on to Amazon, go on to Google, go to Google and Google buying food with crypto. You're going to get thousands of websites happy to ship you bulk food. Listen, it's a trivial issue if you look hard enough and find the right connections. It took us years to get to this point.
Do you think
years.
John, I wanted to ask you, do you think that this quarantine is going to end anytime soon? And if you don't really think that COVID-19 is legitimately a threat, and maybe perhaps this is some kind of I wouldn't say it's a conspiracy, but maybe some kind of overwhelming plan to, well, I'm not sure what the intentions are, but like what is the trajectory of the world in your estimation, given what's going on right now? The world economy.
We've already destroyed the world. You cannot, my friend, bail out an entire world. All you're going to do is devalue the money, and it's still going to be in exactly the same place. We are destroying ourselves. Do you realize nothing ever has financially impacted the world like this? The world was never shut down before.
True.
What do you think would happen to the species of squirrel? Because squirrels spend from October until December 18 hours a day busy picking up nuts, seeds, and everything else to store it so it will survive the winter. What would happen if the squirrel came and said, hey, we got to stop work, guys. There's a virus going to kill us. Well, if the virus doesn't, stopping work will. Because if you don't store away food, you're going to starve before the winter. You think human species is unique?
No, I think we're primitive animals. I think our
That's right. That's right. And we're primitive animals that if we don't work constantly, we'll die. Why do we work? To create food. Who's going to create the food?
I mean, machinery. What? Speaking of like my projections for the future is that we're going to be going into singularity, and there's going to be an inevitable emergence between technology and human biology, and we will all have chips installed in our brains where we will be able to browse Twitter notifications through our eyeballs. That's kind of where I envisage the future. Is that something that you do? What's your overall opinion of Ray Kurzweil and the singularity and the inevitable, I mean, purported inevitability of, fusion between human biology and technology? I mean, you as a cybersecurity expert, I know that you have a background in programming, John. I mean, likewise, I mean, I worked as a software engineer prior to getting laid off. I mean, as of recently, but yeah, what is your overall opinion on the trajectory of technology and where are we going? Do you have faith in the singularity?
There may not be any technology when this is over, my friend. Listen, okay, you made a statement that many people actually believe. Well, why don't we just print the money and save everybody? If we could do that, why should we work? Why don't we all stay home? And the purpose of the government is simply to print money. Do you understand how absurd that is?
I do. I mean,
this is where we are. I'm sorry?
I do understand the ridiculousness of that. Yeah, I do.
So
Absolutely.
I don't give a shit about singularity. I care about basic survival of the human species. I think we're teetering. Right here may be the end of humanity, people. This has never happened, and nobody can guess. I can tell you one thing already: 20 million people are out of work in America alone. Alone. 500 million in the world.
But
we can't recover from that, people. We cannot recover from it.
The nuance here, I think, is, of course, I'm more interested in your thoughts, John, than anything else. But the nuance is that this has been kind of voluntarily imposed by the governments of the world. So it's kind of like suicide in a way, the way I see it. So why would it be? The thing is that this shutdown is completely within our control. So why would it necessarily be the end of the world? I mean, can't we just flip the switch and get the ball rolling again?
You need to get a book on basic economics. No, you can't flip the switch. Listen, how long did it take Germany to recover? Listen, at the end of the war, what would a loaf of bread cost? 10 billion marks. Before the war, a loaf of bread was half a mark.
Right, but that was a war, I think it was a war.
This is not a war?
I mean,
this is the worst war the world has ever goddamn seen.
This is the government just shutting our shit down, man. The government is the problem, and we're just like shutting our own shit down. We can just flip the switch and get the ball rolling again, no? I mean,
I wish life were that simple. I really do.
I mean, all the businesses that have already went kaput, all right? All the businesses that have already went kaput, correct? I mean, they're not going to be bailed out, which is fine. But then once the government kickstarts and starts bailing out all the massive corporations,
well, if it bails out everybody, it doesn't matter. The money you have, you can't buy anything with. Do you understand, please? It's called hyperinflation. When governments start bailing shit out, it hyperinflates, even on a small scale. This is the largest bailout the world has ever seen. We won't survive it, my friend. Run the numbers.
Jesus Christ. So basically, there's nothing I can do to protect against inflation. You're telling me I'm going to starve to fucking death. I'm going to fucking starve to death. I'm going to fucking starve to death, John.
You might. Because who's going to build the food? Who's going to create the food? Who's creating the food now? Nobody.
I mean, I got a garden.
Nobody.
I got a garden, man.
We're eating.
I grow tomatoes.
Pardon?
I have a garden. I grow tomatoes in the back of it, you know.
That's fine. And when your neighbors find out and they don't have one, they're going to kill you and take
Well, I got a shotgun. I'm going to fucking blow their heads off. If that
that's fine. If that's what it comes to, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly. It's my property. It's my property, and it's my fucking. Those are my goddamn tomatoes, right?
Yes, absolutely. So basically, what I'm talking about is the end of civilization. It's not going to matter that it's your property. Neighbors are going to try and take it because they're starving.
Right.
When people are starving, they will do anything to keep themselves and their families alive. You need to understand this. This is the basis. Food is the basic problem here. We are not going to be able to restart the food chain because the food chain is the most sensitive of all industries. Farmers have to get up at a specific time when the sun rises. They have to harvest at a specific time. They have to plant at a specific time. You have to have transport that takes it to processing centers where food is canned. Who the hell is going to can the food?
The machines, the people that program the PLCs.
So the machines are going to what?
Automation complex. Yeah, the industrial automation complex is going to.
So you don't need people. So you don't. That's bullshit. You know, there are more people now working for canning companies than there used to be. It's just the machines make it faster.
Man,
you can't run a machine without a person.
Well, I mean, certainly
Which
not.
machine
but
can you do that?
Of course, you can get them to a point where they're advanced enough to be autonomous, right? To some extent. I mean, what is your faith in technology, John? I thought you as a fellow programmer, you have.
You can't have technology without an economy, my friend. We're going to end up in the Stone Ages here.
Pardon?
We're going to end up in the Stone Ages. What technology will we have? Who's going to create the electricity to run all this stuff?
We still have all the tech guides to make, PCB boards, and we have
using
the knowledge.
What materials?
We have
using
the knowledge.
What materials? Where are the materials going to come from?
We got the knowledge, baby. Who needs the fucking materials?
Well, you need materials. You got to have a fucking circuit board. Where do you get the circuit board from?
There's a goddamn gold mine in Chicago. I can go fucking, get my fucking pickaxe. Get a couple of people involved voluntarily, we'll fucking start making, we'll fucking start making PCB boards right there.
So a small group of a few thousand people are going to save the world. Bullshit, my friend. There are 7.8 billion people keeping.
Do you have food stocked up?
How am I preparing?
Yeah, you got food stocked
up. Yeah, I've got a 5-year supply. I've got a 5-year supply of food.
So you want to live only for 5 years? You don't want to live for 10 years, only for 5 years?
I think in 5 years I'll figure out how to support myself.
Really? You're going to be locked in a shelter. You're going to be there with Janice.
No, we're not going to be locked in a shelter. Listen, these shelters are going to be invaded by starving people soon. Listen, I've got it set out, but I've got the food, I've got the plan. Mm-hmm. I will survive.
Hypothetically, if we were together in a shelter, we would be able to cooperate, correct? I mean, I know that right now in this interview, I'm not coming off as
what now?
Cooperate as a collective, right? I
mean,
hypothetically.
So just like we did at the beginning of civilization, and it took us 5,000 years to get here. Mm-hmm. And you're going to start over, and you're going to do it in a year or two? No, it isn't happening.
Oh, my goodness.
Our infrastructure is being destroyed. The infrastructure means just that structure, the foundation of a fucking building. You take the foundation, and we go, oh, the building's still there. All we got to do is put a foundation under it. Try that sometime.
If the government puts the gun, if the government puts the gun behind everyone's head and forces everyone to work on the infrastructure, I guarantee you, John, that the infrastructure will be fixed. If we get all the engineers,
God, I wish that were true.
If we get all the engineers and architects rounded up, if we get all the architects and engineers rounded up, and tell them to fucking do the shit that they're supposed to be doing. Tell the food workers to fucking make the food. I don't give a fuck if they're getting paid. They're going to get the food that they need.
But you can't.
They're going to get the buildings that they need.
You can't. You can't just make food out of thin air. You got to
fucking. There's cows. There's cows on the metal, motherfucker.
All right, that's fine. You are an optimist, and that's fine. And I don't want to dissuade you anymore. However, my friends, you're smoking something.
No, I'm not.
You really are.
No, I'm not.
Okay, maybe not.
John, I don't know. I'm elucidated, believe it or not.
Right.
I wanted to
could be.
I wanted to come back to the
Listen,
singularity. I want to get
a couple of months. A couple of months will tell. All right, you wait a couple of months. Either you will be right or I will.
Sure. Fair enough. Enough.
Okay. And we are out of time. Janice came in the thing.
John, come on. No. Please. Not yet. Please.
No, it's half an hour.
No.
It's not half an hour, Janice.
Not
Janice
yet.
Is, okay, I'm sorry. She was looking at her clock.
John.
Okay, we have 6 more minutes. My apologies.
John, I wanted to ask you, what is your overall opinion on the singularity? If we hypothetically get through this crisis and Google begins to, kickstart the development behind AI, and we have Neuralink installed within our
see,
brain.
I already answered that. I
Life
said I don't
extension.
give a shit because we're
permanent life.
We're not.
Do you want to live
How are we
forever?
going to do that if we're primitives? If we're primitives living in fucking caves, tell me how to do that.
You install
I'm not
chips in our
concerned
brains
about
that will
this. I'm
elevate our
concerned-
consciousness.
Okay, I'm only interested in survival right now, and you should be too, my friend, because you do not understand the ledge upon which you are standing. You do not. It is so clear. And I don't give a shit about the singularity or life extension or technology. I give a shit about how do we fucking live through this.
What if you can make it
Fuck
so...
singularity. Fuck technology. Live. How do we do it? You tell me. And what you're telling me is pie in
We
the
can
sky
bypass
shit.
our
the government
biology,
puts a gun to our
John.
heads.
We can
sorry?
bypass our biological needs through technology. We could eliminate the need for food, eliminate the need.
But we're not going to have the technology.
We don't have to
What
shit our
technology?
piss. We don't have to shit our piss in order to survive. We don't have to feed ourselves. We won't have to orgasm to feel normal. Okay, we won't have to.
All right, I'm sorry. I don't understand a single fucking word you're saying. I don't. You're ignoring your reality right now, my friend. You're one of those people who say, well, just print the money, it'll all be all right. Do you understand that it can't be done?
Okay,
you can't fix things
Can
by
I retract
printing
that
money.
point? I want to retract that contention because I completely
Okay,
agree.
retract that. And you can't fix things by putting guns to people's head and saying, do it without raw materials.
I
Where do
completely
the raw
agree.
materials come from? Make those people make them? Please, God, you can't do that. It does not work.
I have a much more thorough.
Anyway, well, you and I see this differently.
No, we don't.
I see this
I'm much more
as
similar
a
to
life.
John, I'm much more
Yeah.
similar to you than you could possibly imagine.
Okay.
All of these
But
propositions.
seriously, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about the singularity. I don't give a shit about life extension. I just care about how do we as a fucking species survive this. Not the coronavirus, our idiotic response to it.
Right.
And it doesn't even have to be a conspiracy. It's just stupidity in the world's leaders.
Is there a way out? Just a simple question.
No.
Is there a way out? Is it over?
No.
Is it over?
No.
Is it done?
It's fucking over.
Get the fuck out of here, John!
I'm sorry.
John.
This is my opinion. You may believe what you want. You asked me.
It
I'm
can't be
telling you,
over.
if you have any sense at all, you will forget all this other nonsense and buy food and find a place for you and your family that's safe. If you got a neighbor, you ain't safe.
What about the
Unless
gold
he's also
standard?
growing food.
What about the gold standard?
Pardon?
The gold standard. Is there any way to revitalize the economy? You have to think, I guess, more open-mindedly. The gold standard.
And putting us on the gold standard is suddenly going to make food appear?
I mean,
No, you
with
can't
these
fix it with these
food
simplistic things.
These food
Pardon?
shortages that you're bringing up, where are they happening?
They're not happening yet. But have you seen anybody producing it? Fuck no. We are eating our surplus supplies for emergencies. When it's over, we're going to starve, my friend.
What about McDonald's?
About what?
McDonald's? Like it's
Where
open
are they going
right
to get
now.
the meat? Where are they going to get the meat from? Where are they going to get the buns from?
God damn it!
Where are they going to get?
They're gonna get it from the warehouse. They got buns over there, like on fucking Route 40. Jesus Christ!
Huh?
Never.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah.
we are now out of time, and I really enjoyed this. I did.
John,
I will leave you and your.
Can you come back on?
Yes. Yeah, but no time soon because we are booked with podcasts until probably June. But yes, absolutely. But here's the issue. I'm going to leave you and your listeners with this. Please pull your head out of the sand and smell the coffee. All right.
And
thank you very much for having me on.
The coffee is ready, John. It's fucking. I just made the coffee, John. John, the coffee's fucking ready. I got the fucking creamer in there. You know, you're telling me to. And my head's out of the sand. My head's out of the fucking sand.
Then drink it.
I'm drinking.
Buy food.
Sipping.
And find a safe place for yourself and your family. All right? And thank you very much.
I love you, John. Johnny? All right. God damn it, I wish I had better questions for John. But the thing is that everything that could possibly be asked for John has already been asked. And I didn't know. I honestly had no idea what to ask John. No idea. Oh, Jesus Christ. How do you guys think that interview went? Did you guys like that interview? You guys liked it? I mean, you guys like it? Press 1 if you liked that interview with John. On Sunday, we will have David Icke. On Sunday, we will have David Icke, and I'm not a horrible interviewer. Come on, man. I'm not a horrible interviewer. I sent him amazing questions. Jesus Christ. I mean, I didn't use them. I want to get John back. I should have asked him about Bill Gates. I should have asked him, what Dad's bunkmate wanted me to ask, Horrible. Oh my God. Okay, I guess I should neck, right? It's over. Next, Bill Clinton. Do you guys want to stay in chat? Do you guys want to call in at 201-701-1482 for opinions on the podcast, opinions on COVID-19? We're going to be taking calls right now. This is far from over. I really want to thank John for coming on. The food shortages that he was referring to, I'm not completely clarified on it. I'm not totally clairvoyant on what he was discussing, but one second. Guys, once again, call in at 201-701-1482. All right.
Call from
John McAfee has.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. 267?
Hey, how you doing, my nigga?
Hey, how are you, my nigga? How are you? You have any questions or observations?
We should talk about hashtag film your hospital.
Hashtag film your hospital.
You know what that is?
Is that a new trend?
Yeah, do you know what that is?
I mean, inform me.
For the last 5 days, it's kind of international, but it's mostly in the United States, that people are going to the lobbies and the emergency room areas and the testing areas of all the hospitals around the United States, and they're filming the parking lots and the lobbies, showing that they're all empty. And nobody's being tested. Rarely anybody's being tested. The nurses in the lobby are bullshitting, just sitting around not doing anything. There's no one showing up or being transferred into the hospital. The security of the hospitals and just the nurses are being adversarial to anybody who films, and just watching people who are trying to look like all these places that people they're told to go test at are just fully empty. Nobody's in the parking lots, nobody's in the lobbies. The nurses are just fucking around, and even the tents are fully empty and not stocked up, and there's no the media just told everybody that there's people out the door. Even the CEO of Urgent Care, she's in Hawaii, and she was like, "Oh, we're bombarded with people, and we're giving out so many tests." And then people showed up, and there's nobody outside. And she was so all these people have biases to their bottom line of making money and getting funding from the government and stuff. So this guy who shows up he records her, and he's like, "What happened about all the people you're testing? And like, where's all the lines of people out the door?" And then she just comes out with her camera phone and she like assaults him for recording. And it seemed like they had previous like social media banter or something. But
are you involved in this trend? Do you suggest that
I went to my local hospital and recorded, and there was there was a guy sitting there bullshitting in the emergency room. The testing areas, even though this was nighttime, the testing areas were kind of before doors, so I guess they could transfer people in. But the other thing that was fucked up was that when you call in, they tell you, oh, you have to go to your local doctor and get a script, and also you have to show some symptoms. But the thing is they're saying it's mostly asymptomatic, and also the types of symptoms that they're talking about are so you can't, it's like saying, oh, you sneezed a few times, so that means you're sick. They're like, oh, only fever, a little cough, and then, oh, you can't breathe a little bit. It's just it takes so little for them to say, oh, you're sick. And the fact is, if you need to show symptoms and then you need to get access to your doctor, first of all, a lot of doctors' offices aren't even allowing themselves to see patients. And also the healthcare infrastructure, people don't even have the ability or want to take the risk of paying out money or even have the ability to get access to a doctor through an insurance plan or anything to even see a healthcare physician or get into an office. To have that ability to get access to a larger hospital. So the infrastructure is not there for a normal citizen, even if they're supposedly sick, to get access to a hospital. And all those people don't even know about this information because the government's leaving every man for himself, that this person won't have the ability to access the hospital in the first place, or even have the time. People have to are figuring out how to pay their bills because they're either laid off or they're like, I got to focus on getting paid more than worrying about going to the hospital, risking. They said, oh yeah, they'll cover people's costs for being sick, but nobody wants to take that chance to get money thrown at them on an unreliable stimulus plan or whatever. So it showed how our healthcare system's a sham and how people are stuck in these contradictory situations. Especially the fact that the people that walk in and want information about getting testing and stuff like that, the nurses and the people within the behind the desks are giving contradictory information. They're like, oh, well, did you go to the other building? And they're like, yeah, I was just there. And then they're like, oh, you have to go there. And then also you got to go on the CDC web, typical American bureaucracy. Yeah, I know I just said a whole bunch of stuff, but yeah, that's kind of what's going on.
Those are some interesting perspectives, definitely. And, if you have an opportunity, this is pretty much, thank you, caller. I think I know who this is. This is Swag, who probably called in. So, yeah. So everybody, if you can partake in your local activism, if you will, and go and film your local hospital to see what's going on, I think that with enough traction, there can definitely be a lot of suspicion, obviously revolving around what's going on. And even if people are supposedly getting sick, it's just the fact that there's just so much pushback to take care of you. They're more worried about you coming in, asking questions and filming. And even if you're not filming, just the fact that you're questioning what's going on, where do I go? They'll just be okay. They're just so resistant to help you. It's just so upside. It's like when you go to the DMV and you ask a question and they get pissed off at you. They're like, oh, what do you mean you need this? Well, that paperwork you need? What do you think? I'm gonna show you where it is? Here, you got to read this paper. It's not. There's no helpful
structure. They're more worried about you getting in their space, waste, like, they want to get paid. The nurses want to get paid however money extra per hour they're making fucking around, having a quick, easy job than dealing with people. So they rather push you away than take you in.
Understood. Listen, Swag, thank you so much for calling. We have just an entire swarm of callers calling in and offering their insights and opinions on what's going on, and obviously the interview. What did you think of this interview? Do you think obviously it could have asked more concise questions? But the thing is that John does a lot of interviews as it is, a lot of podcasts as it is. So
he already talks. My friend said he already talks too much on Twitter, so it's like you can only get so much. But the thing is, like, instead of trying to pick apart like, his perspective on stuff, you should have asked his insider like personal experiences socially interacting with people in the upper echelons of that elite of technology and just all that insider information, because you could either like specifically Bill Gates, you could pull like stuff about his like psychology that's all like fucked up, and also just like all the interests from like elite, from like a Rockefeller or George Soros type character, like Swag,
was
investing time into these characters.
The thing is that it's only I only have so much time to ask those questions, but I totally agree those would have been very important questions to ask. I have email correspondence with him, so I could probably ask him those questions via email and get concise answers that way, or get like voice messages or and so on and so forth. So I don't think
he's probably not like as much on drug binges as he was like, I guess, like last year or a few years ago, like spurting out on Twitter and stuff. But if he ever gets in that type of mindset again, and he somehow is like drugged up and shows up on your show, asking about like more like the personalities and the weird shit going on with like people like Bill Gates and stuff, he'll probably just like go like, yeah, dude, he's a fucking piece of shit. I caught him with a cock in his mouth or some shit like that. Like he'll probably like reveal some really fucked up weird shit about these different celebrities and stuff.
Gotcha. All right, Swag. Listen, it's been great.
All right, I'll let you go. But everybody should go on YouTube and hashtag Film Your Hospital, and also on Twitter, and film your local hospital and ask questions.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you for calling in, man. Thank you.
Peace out, nigga.
Wonderful. We have a bunch of other calls coming in right now. Mr. 570. Howdy.
Hello?
Hello. How are you?
Who is this? I'm good. How are you?
This is Carl.
Howdy. Hi, Carl. How are you?
Did you call?
Did I call you? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. So, did you get the coronavirus?
Yeah.
How was it?
Honestly,
I'm considering it.
So basically what, like I said, I think I've, previously explained it, but I contracted it. I went to the ER, got tested for it. It turned out positive. The probability is, of course, about a third. Of the test being accurate. So I went there and got diagnosed. I wasn't prescribed anything. They just told me to self-quarantine. Then I took, a variety of medications. Most of them are over the counter, and before you know it, the symptoms just completely dissipated. And I haven't felt better or worse since. And yeah.
So it's lit.
It's intense. Do you want to get it?
Well, I'm considering it because it seems like this fucking virus affects everybody else but the people that have it, so I'm kind of considering figuring it out, you know what I mean?
Realistically, listen, the thing is that There's not enough tests for anybody. My presumption is that most people are already carrying the virus. Most people are asymptomatic, if that makes any sense. Most people are asymptomatic.
Yeah.
The only people that are truly at risk for experiencing fatality from the illness, from the virus itself, are those that are immunocompromised. All right. In other words, people that have already a conglomerate of underlying conditions. I'm not one of those people. I mean, people that are usually in certain age groups have have those underlying conditions. So, I mean, if you want to get it, you can. I mean, you wouldn't know. There's not enough tests going around. The accuracy of the test is around 30%. So, be my guest. Go lick a telephone pole. And then just, I mean, of course you're gonna get splinters in your tongue, but be my guest. I mean, it's nothing extravagant. It's, I mean, experientially, it's analogous to the flu, So,
Hey, can I add one more thing?
yeah.
Real quick. So last night I got sent a link to something called Full Moon Features. I think you might be interested in this. Now, it's like, I want to say ghetto movies, but I don't think that's the right term. But it's kind of like indie movies, but they're all very, very weird, and they all lead to just strange smut scenes. I feel like you might be kind of interested in that.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Just send them my way, and I'll be more than happy.
I can send you a link, but I have full screen access, so I can maybe try and get you on that list if you're interested.
Oh, absolutely. No,
Okay.
Add me there. Yeah.
I can pull some strings and figure things out for you. Okay.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Is that it?
That's it. I gotta go. This is Smutville.
All right. Thank you so much, Smut.
Goodbye.
All right, guys. Listen. 1 second here. 1 second. Guys, give me 1 second. One second here. How's everybody doing in the chat? Is everybody having a good time? Everybody having a good time? Let me go into what we have over here. Just navigating to a link. Let me see over here. All right then. Alrighty then. All right then. If anybody wants to continue calling in, anybody wants to call in, we have. All right then.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. 573. How are you?
What's up, my nigga?
Hey, what's poppin', G? You got any questions?
You really got tomatoes, my guy?
Tomatoes. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. You told John you got tomatoes and you fucking blow someone's head off if they try to take them.
Oh, yeah. I'm experimenting in some personal vegetation.
What else are you experimenting?
Oh man, you just hurt my ear right then and there. You just fucking popped my eardrum. I got some onions growing in the backyard.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Cool.
All right then.
Cool.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye. All right, guys, listen. I actually have errands to run, but yeah, I mean that was my interview with McAfee. I think I might come later today to do another podcast. It's going to be much more informal, but I just really wanted to get this conversation out of the way. Mr. McAfee was a pleasure to have on. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. Yeah, I want to do 9 hours right now, but honestly, guys, I'll have to get going within like 10, 20 minutes, realistically. But I want to thank everybody for joining in. I wish I was a bit more organized with Mr. McAfee, but like I said, I just looked into what questions I could possibly ask him without sounding redundant, and I think that I was pretty limited. Asking him about his experience with the upper echelon, I think that he's already had his fair share of questions, regarding that, and I just did not want to recycle any questions, so I just wanted to have a much more, explosive conversation with them. I mean, it's only 20, 30 minutes, guys, but I really appreciate the callers, and there was 2 callers, and thank you guys so much, and have a good one. Alrighty then.